stay tuned for Eye on the Target Radio. Thanks. gun. We were like, this is the one we're going to have. And we have them, and we've shot them, and it's held up well. It's in the rotation.
Can't go wrong with a K9.
You cannot go. And I like how it's big, yet it's skinny. I really like that skinny platform. So 9mm, skinny gun, because I don't have a lot of room left after I've filled my concealed carry spot with like Twinkies, ho-hos, and you know how that goes. So okay, let's talk a little bit about Rob and I taught a class this weekend. And what did you learn at the class? Anything new? Anything different? Huh?
I'm not there to learn, am I?
Well, you are, and you are there to disseminate information and gather information.
It's funny that I learned that stuff that you take for granted, like just how to grip a gun, is not as simple as you would expect. I mean, a lot of people, every time they pick it up, they have a completely different grip on the gun. And so if you practice that to where your grip is the same every time, things are going to go so much smoother for you.
Right. I mean, it's just basic, easy little things that you can do before you take your class or after you take your class to be able to hone some gun skills. And a lot of them right now, ammo is hard to get. So what can you do to practice and to be better without ammo? And so a couple of them are, can you access your gun? Where are you carrying it concealed? Can you get to it? And when you first are a carrier, put your gun on, carry it around the house. Try it, bend over, make sure that you can bend and sit and
Back
stretch.
in the old days, they used to call it playing with your gun, but now that's not socially acceptable to say they're playing with their gun.
No, they just are taking, they're exercising it.
I mean, you used to get one and you'd tear it apart 500 times, you'd dry fire it a couple thousand times, you'd quick draw it, you'd point shoot it, you'd do everything without ever taking it outside with bullets. You was just it was pretty much worn out by the time you got to the.
Well, you need to know how all the buttons work. So I got a call today, and I want to roll through this because I think this was a great call that causes you to stop and think. And it was a friend of mine who said a friend of hers had just bought a gun, and the salesman, in her words, stunk. So the salesman stunk, and because of that, she got this gun that she couldn't use. And so when I found out what the gun was, it was the Hellcat, and it's not a bad gun. So it's not a bad gun at all.
Inside the box comes a little manual that tells you how to work it. Also, if you don't get the box, if you just bought a gun off of somebody, you can go to the manufacturer website, and usually there is the downloadable book that you can do from there.
It is very much worth your time to go get the manual and read it. Because it'll tell you a lot of stuff. They spend a lot of time writing that manual, and it tells you things. And so when you...
The big thing is whether your gun can handle plus P ammo or not, if you could dry fire the gun or not, if you need any special tools to disassemble the gun. The best part of this whole story is that apparently it's not only men who do not read the manual.
Right. So. That's the best part of the whole story. No, so she didn't read the manual. The salesman didn't suck, we'll just say. And as what I found out was that she couldn't get the gun back closed, and so thought that was a strength issue when she had opened it and locked it open on an empty magazine and kept the magazine in and then tried to close the gun, and it wouldn't close. And so she thought it was a strength issue when it was really that's how the gun works.
She's fighting 3 different springs there. If she takes the magazine out, then she cuts down to 2 springs.
Well, and it doesn't want to close on an empty magazine. You've got to drop that magazine so that it'll come past that, because there is a portion in the formed portion of the magazine that is pushing up on the lever.
The slide stop.
That would be it. Okay, this is the words. I'm not good on what those terms are. You know, you take the basic pistol class and they're like, know all these things. I'm like, yeah. I know what they do. I don't need to know what they're called. Here, hi, my name's Amanda. Oh, you're the slide stop? Nice to meet you. Right? I'm not good at that. So there's stuff I know, and then there's stuff, I'll just describe it as the thingy that does the thing that does that, whatever that is.
So let's that go forward, huh?
Right. And so
I love all that technical jargon.
I'm just not good at that. Maybe I ought to read the manual. I'm not.
It could be worse. Like I say, that we used to just play with the gun, 1,000 draws, quick. We'd shoot the trash can. We'd shoot the TV. We'd do every kind of thing all the stuff that they tell you shouldn't do.
Well, her not good salesman sold her snap caps too, which were brilliant. Because I'm like, here's what you want to do.
But he should have showed her how to use all that stuff so that when she left, she was.
That's not his job. His job is next, right? And the next customer. So his job is, here's a business card
But
for
the thing is,
a trainer.
If you take the time to explain all that stuff, the next time she needs a gun, she's coming back to you because she figures the other guy's a jackwagon. So
Right. Well,
when she goes to talk to him and he doesn't explain anything, she's coming back to you. So you'll sell more stuff.
Well, there potentially is that because she wasn't real happy with them until she realized that they knew what they were talking about. So it was an interesting conversation. So in just a couple minutes on the phone, we were able to get her to where she can manipulate her gun. And now she's been sent home with some homework. Here, you and your gun, sit at the kitchen table, do this, this, and this. And when you're done, you will know so much more. So make a magazine full of loaded with snap caps and a magazine with nothing in it, and then put it in and see what each one of them do. And pretty soon you're going to figure out what every lever does, what every button does, and your ability to manipulate that gun. Because you need to know those things. Right?
Right.
So
same way when it works when you go to the gun show and buy an old Sharps, you just take it apart and flip all the buttons and switches till you figure out what it's supposed to do.
Right. No, I don't do that. I go, Rob, come over here. I have this thing. I need you to look at my thing, and I need you to point at it, and I need you to walk me through it. And I'll tell you.
I used to get that at the gun show, too. Old guys would get stuff, and they're like, here, I don't know how this works. Show me how to make this work.
Well, that is the beauty. That is honestly the beauty of an instructor. Is you can take your gun to an instructor and they become a walking, talking owner's manual for you and your gun. You can learn so much stuff in an hour or 2 hours with an instructor that you wouldn't learn. Yeah, you didn't have to read. You'll just walk through it. So that way it's interactive. It's very, very interactive, and you don't have to read.
That button. What's that do?
Right. Let me show you. Let's show you, and then we'll go there. What's that button called? I don't know. Let's get the manual out, and we'll find out. Hi, Slide Stop. My name's Amanda. Nice to meet you. I'm just saying, because I would be like, I don't know. It's the thingy, and here's what the thingy does.
It's the flicky do, right?
Right.
Makes the
well,
slide go
I don't
forward.
even use the flicky do, the thingy, the Slide Stop, because my hand is not big enough to get around and push that button in to be able to make it go. I have to just grab the action, and pull it back, get it released, and I'm good to go.
See, back in the old days when we wanted to look cool like Lee Marvin, we had to use that Slide Stop.
My hand's not big enough. And so that's the difference between men and women, is you guys got a better grip, you've got a more solid grip, you've got more strength in your thumbs and your hands, and you can manipulate that.
You use this thumb for that.
That thumb. This is my left-hand thumb. It is only there to keep me looking balanced.
And when you got a hold of your pistol, this thumb should work your safety, and the other thumb should work your Slide Stop. So everything is all in.
This thumb, the left-hand thumb, goes, I give, right? It doesn't have enough strength to do anything.
It's to assign everybody a job so they got something to do. Otherwise, they're just milling around doing nothing, and you end up shooting one of them off.
Well, no, he's not shooting him off, but he's definitely not doing anything. I think I need to get him some silly putty or an exercise ball for the left hand, because it just keeps me looking balanced. That is all, well, as balanced as I can look. That is all my left hand does. But it's really interesting. I absolutely love it when you get to teach a class to beginners and to new people, and when you get responses back. So our class, we had experienced people and new people, and everybody came back saying that they learned something, and that's a successful class. We'll be back with history right after this.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a range master certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
Had a dirty day? Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps, made from fresh goat's milk and organic oils that detoxify, clean, and restore moisture to skin, will get you ready for your next adventure. These unique soaps are handcrafted in the Blue Ridge Mountains and shipped to anywhere in the U.S. Visit SillyBillyGoatFarm.com for their full line of Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps. That's SillyBillyGoatFarm.com.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl / mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.eyeonthetargetradio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.eyeonthetargetradio.com for Rust is Bad.
Folks, we are back with the history section. First, I want to tell you that our guest at the bottom of the hour, our guest is going to be Diana Muller she's a professional 3-gun shooter, and she's going to be talking to us about the Ambassadors Academy. Man, I went last year, and I want to go back. I really do. So you're going to get to hear about it. And but right now we're going to talk about the history of shotgun shells.
Well, Amanda says, let's talk about when they switched from paper to plastic shotgun shells. I'm like, that wasn't all that long ago, like 1965.
Well, there you go. So, okay, so let's start with the history. When did we go from muzzle-loading shotguns to shotgun shells?
They used muzzle-loading shotguns and rifles and pistols up until about 1910. Was it especially out west where there wasn't a assured supply line of fixed cartridges and stuff like this?
Okay.
But actual shotgun shells came into play around the 1870s, same as the regular rifle bullets and that. A shotgun shell where it's paper and brass and stuff is it's kind of they call it a Dawes cartridge. It's the English use the same thing using tin and cardboard and brass to make rifle ammo.
Mm-hmm.
The high-end trap loads today still use paper. It's a wound paper with wax on it so it holds its shape and that. What it didn't do well is if you were in the duck blind and that, it would get wet in a rainstorm or whatever, and then it would start to swell up and things. World War I, they found out that the paper didn't work well for the in the muddy trenches of France, so they made brass shotgun shells and stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about the muddy trenches of France, because they were actually using them. That was called the trench gun, and they were using a shotgun.
Well, originally they put them, there was supposed to be about every fifth person in the line of these trenches where it was supposed to be a shotgunner, and his job originally was to deflect ordnance coming in. So hand grenades, different things that they would.
So they were looking for the farm boy that was the bird hunter, and then they put them in there so that they were just keeping incoming.
When something was coming into the trench, he was supposed to shoot it back in the no man's land or over back into their hole with them. They realized that the shotgun that worked so well for everything, they would just get together groups of them, and then they would work from one end of a trench all the way down through. And it worked so well that the Germans actually threatened that they were going to kill anyone caught with a shotgun. The American response was to order like 175,000 more shotguns or something.
So it's like, try this.
And so right after the big order went in for shotguns, the Germans surrendered, and that was the end of World War I. But the shotgun's been famous. It's popular. It can do all kinds of different things. But the paper shell was troublesome. It would swell up. It would draw moisture. A lot of times, if you have old paper shells that grandpas or whatever, most of them won't go off anymore because they've just drawn so much moisture into them that they're no longer of any value besides just looking at. The plastic shell, Winchester came out with what they called a Mark V in 1965, and it was a one-piece hull that was all plastic. Originally, their design was not to have any brass head on the case, but the American public didn't like that idea. They felt that it needed that brass head to ensure how rigid it was.
I'm not going to get all blowed up, right? I mean, we as Americans are opposed to getting all blowed up. That's just
so. Anyhow, it was short-lived with no brass, and it went to a brass head on it. And so the high brass and the trap loads and stuff, they still make that same casing today. They call it a compression-formed case, and it's all one piece. In the old days with the paper shells, and even when everyone else started making plastic shells, they would use sometimes a cork wad in the bottom or a paper wad in the bottom, and if you were a reloader, after a couple of reloads, that wad would come loose and lodge in the barrel, and then the next shot would cause the barrel to bulge up or split or something. So you had to be very careful if you were reloading anybody else's shells except for the Winchester. So Winchester kind of got to be number one in the reloading market. When we were kids, you could buy the plastic wads came in shells, but you could not buy them separately for reloading. So my grandfather would take us and make us pick up plastic wads, and then we would sort them in the driveway. He had tables we'd set out, and then he had an old Maytag washing machine. We would wash them and then dry them and then put them in bags so he could reload them.
So visualize this, because his answer to us was, well, we're closer to the ground. And so he would give us, as kids, here's a pillowcase, and go out and fill the pillowcase full of wads. And so you'd walk the trap fields. And so my grandfather shot trap in the circuit. And so he was everywhere. And he made it to where it was a game for us to help him.
And then after we were done picking up wads, we could go pick up the clay pigeons that weren't broken. So that was our bonus for the thing. We get to have the clay pigeons.
And then we'd take those home to play with our 22s.
And eventually they come out with a little thing that looked kind of like a table out of a pizza box. It's called a red radish. It was a red X that had two flat surfaces on it. and that was the first of the plastic wads you could buy to reload for yourself. And then later on, they would use that, and then they would use a plastic sleeve that went around the shot to protect it from touching the barrel. It was kind of funny because before that, you used cork wads and paper wads, and you would have some of that stuff would have to have like 60 or 80 pounds of force on it. So if you look at an old reloader, it has a column on there. When you pull down on the handle, you got to stretch it to that 80 pounds before you can release the shot into the cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
And so every shell you're trying to pull 80 pounds of pressure on.
And we didn't weigh 80 pounds.
The plastic wad was so much better because you just push it down tight and then dump stuff on top. And
so we spent our childhood. It was our version of a video game, sitting on a bar stool or a bar stool style stool in the basement, pulling the lever of our grandfather's reloading.
Old Mech 250, and we loaded tons of shells on it. We logged a lot of hours on that.
And it was like, can we go over there? Can we do that? Because that's so much fun. And Grandpa's like, I'm not sure I'm going to let you. And we're like, please, please, please.
Last time you didn't put shot in, as he told us.
Yeah, there was. If he ever missed when he's shooting, then it was like you loaded him and didn't put shot in. For a long time, I thought that was possible. It's
not.
It's not. It's not. But I really thought it was my fault. He lost. It was my fault. When we come back, Diana Muller.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a Rangemaster certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
Had a dirty day? Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps, made from fresh goat's milk and organic oils that detoxify, clean, and restore moisture to skin, will get you ready for your next adventure. These unique soaps are handcrafted in the Blue Ridge Mountains and shipped to anywhere in the U.S. Visit SillyBillyGoatFarm.com for their full line of Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps. That's SillyBillyGoatFarm.com. Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Suffolcool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the DC Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good, and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl / mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
Hi, this is Paul Lathrop from the Polite Society podcast. I wanted to let you know that the show you're listening to is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. You can check out all the shows on the network by going to selfdefenseradio.net or tune in for more on Self-Defense Mondays on Karma Radio, KRMAradio.com.
This is Dan Perkins with your Songs and Stories for Soldiers, Veterans Tip of the Day. If you're a veteran with a disability, are you interested in a program that could give you a free home? Homes for Our Troops is a privately funded 501c3 nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans to enable them to rebuild their lives. These homes restore some of the freedom and independence our veterans sacrificed while defending our country and enable them to focus on their family and recovery. Since its inception in 2004, nearly 90 cents of every dollar has gone directly to the program to serve veterans. HFOT builds these homes where the veterans choose to live and continues its relationship with the veterans after the home delivery to assist them in rebuilding their lives. For more information, go to their website, www.hfotusa.org, and see if you can qualify for the home of your dreams. This has been your Songs and Stories for Soldiers, Veterans Tip of the Day.
So, hey, folks, we are back with our guest segment of the show, Eye on the Target Radio. Remember, Car Arms is our sponsor, but we have Diana Muller, and Diana Muller is a professional 3-gun shooter. And so Di is a professional 3-gun shooter, and she is also the brains and brawn behind an organization called the Ambassadors Academy. And so okay, so we have just lost her. I've just heard from the switchboard, so we will find out. She will need to call back in.
Never fails.
Exactly. So yeah. So talk. Well, I text her to say call back in.
Okay. Well, so anyhow, she's also the founder of the DC Project. So she's the one that got you guys all stirred up and moving in the right direction. She is a retired Tulsa police officer who then went into 3-gun profession and was good enough at it that she's professional. She's gone pro and so got sponsorship. She is actually pretty darn amazing at it. And she also went to the White House, to the Senate, and
to testify to the House Judiciary Committee.
And told Jerry Nadler that she will not comply.
Well, to his unconstitutional gun ban. But the news cropped it so there was only one piece of it. But
that was the only part we were interested in.
It means that she is an absolutely awesome gal who found out that when she changed all of this, that she didn't know how to make social media work, what to do, how to do all that stuff. So she had to learn it. And then she realized that if she had to learn it, she could teach it, and she could bring in the experts to teach it, to smooth the path for the rest of us. And that's what Ambassadors Academy is. So, hey, Di, thanks for joining us.
Hey, you guys don't need me. You're doing just fine without me.
So I'm texting her, you talk, and he's like, okay, got it. So that's always the issue.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on. I am a huge fan of the Ambassadors Academy. I'm pretty bummed that this year it happens in a time when I cannot join you, because I think that attending multiple times, there's so much stuff to absorb that your head can only absorb so much. But why don't you tell the backstory of what Ambassadors Academy is about?
Oh, I agree with you. So I was a police officer for 22 years, and around 2009, 2010, I started shooting. Around 2000, maybe 12, 13, I started doing some co-hosting on the Shooting Gallery with Michael Bain. And if you've ever worked around Michael Bain, you'll know that he's a genius. And he can make anybody feel like they're inadequate. Not that he tries. It's just that he's that good. And I always told Michael, I was like, listen, where can I learn how to be better on camera and just practice these skills? And he's like, oh, you're doing a great job. Don't worry about it. And I was like, no. I have the outdoor channel. I can see the show, and I suck. So I'd really like to not suck. And it started way back then that, I needed this training. And then as social media took off and as my sponsored shooter, I retired from the police work in 2014, I guess. And solely have been doing sponsored shooter stuff since then. So, we heavily rely on our social medias to push our brands and our partners out there. And I didn't really know how to do the analytics on the backside and say, hey, I'm giving you this many eyeballs. So it just kind of snowballed. And so 3 years ago now, I was like, I'm just going to start hiring people and put on a class that I would want to take. And unfortunately, I have done that successfully. This will be our third year, but I have yet to actually sit down and take the class. So, yeah, and we do. So not only do we cover social media and on-camera personality type stuff, but we cover a large portion of it is based on hostile communication. So if you've ever had anyone ask you, why does anybody need an AR-15? Aren't guns dangerous? Those, in order to be effective in those conversations, you have to have almost rehearsed responses that are quick and bite-sized that can really get your message across, as opposed to going down that long rabbit hole of how it can when somebody asks you a really tough question like that, because it's not easy to answer. But if you really digest something and make it your own, you can have answers to that, and you can have better, more effective conversations with your friends, your family, and your community.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the hostile communication training was pretty amazing, because they'd give you scenarios and then they'd film you so that you got to see how you looked. And I personally am a face maker, so if something's happening and I feel like I'm losing, I'm like, my eyes get big. My eyes shoot back and forth, and it's like, so I got to work on, I got this, and I've got to work on an answer, because otherwise, I didn't realize I will never play poker. We'll just say because I'm going to be like, you can tell I got a good hand, or you can tell I don't. Right? So
that's good to know. That's good to know.
It really is, because then it's like, okay, I got to look down. I've really got to maintain my composure. But you learn so much stuff from those kinds of things, and stopping to think, so that if your mind hasn't been down that path before, and
right.
And I know that you've got some really good instructors, because one of the things that I was told was, look, when you're talking about those kinds of things, we as gun people want to keep rolling out facts. We want to roll out numbers. We want to roll out facts, and we want to say, so there. And they're like, I'm talking about feelings, and your facts don't matter. So we have to learn how to communicate on their platform to what resonates with them, and that's a learning curve.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Let's talk about that. The first day we get there, we do 1 day of scenario training, which is unique to the facility that we're at, WOFT, West Orlando Firearms Training. He just now put up a website a couple months ago and opened his doors more so to the public. I mean, you really have to go through a background check and maybe even give you some references. But it's a highly privatized and customized experience that you get at WOFT. So I encourage your listeners to go to WOFT.com and check it out, because what was your experience for that scenario-based training? Have you ever done anything like that?
I have not done anything like that. I'll tell you, my experience there was, I want to live there, I really want to. I want to move in. I want to work for Philip. I want to be part of the WAF thing, or I want to clone that, and I want to build it someplace else just like it, because he built what we need, and it is amazing. It is an amazing place. And then the stuff that he teaches you, and it's in bite-sized pieces, is just something different than I've ever learned before. And I came back and I was like, Rob, Mike, you guys need to go there. You need to do this.
Yeah, we call it Tactical Disneyland for a reason, but we're honored to have the Ambassador Academy there. This will be our third year in a row. So really, if, we have seats available, but if anybody's interested, experiencing a bite of WAFT and what they can do at their facility, and then having the Ambassador Academy 4 more days of very deep training into almost media training across the board, plus the photography. We have such amazing photographers. We have 3 photographers coming this year, and I'm really excited because I'm kind of a photo Nazi myself. So I just love that we have such qualified people, qualified professionals across the board teaching. My husband and I, Ryan, and I do teach basically a sponsor relations. Our experience, we've done this. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, and there are things that that people who work in our space can learn from what I've been through with several different companies. So we give them that intelligence as well. Ryan cooks 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch, sometimes dinner. It's hard to make people leave Tactical Disneyland. Once they get there, we realized that last year that we just can't make people leave, so we just go get more food and keep feeding them.
Well, it really is. It's like you're at summer camp with some of your heroes, and that's the thing. So you're learning stuff in every day, but just even the downtime is not really downtime, because you're talking what you learned, you're talking where they came from, what their background is, and so the relationships that you build there will hold you in good stead as you go. It's amazing. Hey, Di, we're going to end up with a hard stop here. I need you to hold on, and we're going to have you come back right after the commercial break. But we're talking to Diana Muller. Her website is pro3gunner.com, so you can start to check out some of the stuff that she does from pro3gunner.com. And then the Ambassadors Academy is what we're talking about, and it's happening Valentine's Day weekend. We'll be right back.
Honest citizens like you protect themselves every day. We talk about it every week on the Self-Defense Gun Stories podcast. Were these gun owners lucky, or did they have a plan? How should we defend the people we love? We discuss recent examples on the Self-Defense Gun Stories podcast. Put us in your pocket.
Hi, I'm Janelle Westrom, owner of Davenport Guns and Davenport Shooting Club. At Davenport Guns, we do so much more than sell firearms. We advocate for increased personal safety and security, not just for you, but your whole family and community. Go to DavenportGuns.com to see our online inventory and browse videos, articles, and things we just find entertaining. Sign up for our newsletter to learn more.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Seppacool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the DC Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl/mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
Had a dirty day? Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps, made from fresh goat's milk and organic oils that detoxify, clean, and restore moisture to skin, will get you ready for your next adventure. These unique soaps are handcrafted in the Blue Ridge Mountains and shipped to anywhere in the U.S. Visit SillyBillyGoatFarm.com for their full line of Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps. That's SillyBillyGoatFarm.com.
Okay, folks, we are back. So we want to things with.
You didn't sound like you were sure about
Well,
that.
things went south there for a minute. It got real kind of interesting. Technology being what technology is, a lot can happen in 20 seconds. But live radio is live radio. So we are talking to Diana Muller, Pro3Gunner.com. And Di is talking to us about the Ambassadors Academy. And Ambassadors Academy is coming up about 1 month from now. And I wanted to give you an opportunity, you, our listeners, an opportunity to hear about Ambassadors Academy. Go to our website and check out Ambassadors Academy and seriously think about joining and being part of the Ambassadors Academy, because I guarantee you it will be an experience that you will never be able to replicate. So hey, Di, thanks for joining us back to Eye on the Target Radio.
Yeah.
And
thanks for such a great review of our product. It's nice that you've been there and you can give people an honest opinion about how you feel about it.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, I feel enough about it that it's like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how do I get Rob to get down there? How do I get our friend Mike to get down there? And I've got this list. Of people, and I keep calling them, going, "You've got to go look at this. You've got to go look at this." And so I'm probably your biggest fan because of where we are and what's going on with it. I absolutely love it. So why don't you give people a snapshot of some of the instructors, because your instructors, bar none, are some of the names in the industry. Some of the best people to teach specific things that are out there.
Right. Well, we have rotated our live fire. We have a very small portion of this is actual live fire, but everybody seems to love it, so that's why I leave it in. And this year, we're very excited to announce that Lena Michalik, the world champion in everything that she touches, is going to be our live fire, focusing on the pistol and PCC. So, and honestly, this is a 16-person class. So if you had a shotgun that you wanted Lena to sign, or you wanted some tips with the shotgun, those are the easy things with a class that size that's so personal. that we can customize it to however anybody wants. So that's the new addition this year is Lena Michelik. And then our social media, we've got a couple of social media gurus. One is TJ Kurgan. You may not know him by name, but you would probably know that Tactical Shit is a very big platform, social media platform, and he has we've requested him to be PG-13 on ours, but he does a very good job. Everybody loves what he has to say. And then Tim Johnson is Tim Johnson. It's just a normal name, and you don't probably know who he is, but he is behind some of the best cinematography that I have seen in our industry. And the Ambassador Academy video is just one small little clip of what he's done. But he did the DC Project video from our team match, and that I just can go watch that video over and over, and it just puts a smile on my face. So he's super talented. He does film and editing. So I don't even know if we talked about that, but I wanted to know how to film on my iPhone and edit it and make something that I could put on my social media. So you can see the progression on how much information that you're getting. You're really drinking from the hose when you come to this 5-day course.
Yeah, I mean, you end up with a class on lighting. So how do you light so that you don't, I mean, that's the difference between good pictures and bad pictures. How do you do it so you don't shadow, so you don't look older, so you look younger, so you look better? I mean, we all want that. So we look lighter as opposed to heavier, those kinds of things. But they'll teach you how to do that. They send you home to do your own little mini video. And our house had to do a couple of them, and those videos came out amazing to the point where one of them was the intro to a book, and that video, I have seen it just free ranging on the internet because that video came out so well that people just share it because it's such a cool looking video, and it was a snapshot from somebody who is an absolute novice with advice from an expert.
Yeah. And I talk about our photographers. Our photographers is Josh Shea from Blue 42, and then and Tim Johnson's from Blue 42 as well. It's a marketing company up in Minneapolis area, Minnesota. And Dave Weaver is also one of our photographers. He's been with the AP for over 20 years. And then Kristen Anderson is local to Florida, and she does a great job as well. I forgot what I was going to say about our photographers. Oh, the posing. It's tough to pose in front of a camera. And we have Beth Walker, who is coming back to be our little assistant in social media and posing for our photographers. So, and not only that, but we have a world-class real-life model, Jamie Villamore, is going to be giving us some tidbits. She won't be there, but she's going to either join us by Zoom or giving us video tips on how to pose. So it's really an all-inclusive, all-encompassing, how do you be a better influencer?
Right. And how do you do it and you look polished and professional and accomplished, and you don't feel like you're just out there, beating on the bushes trying to do stuff going on.
Rushing around. I'm moving. Am
I moving in the right direction, or am I just moving? Right? Am I accomplishing anything? So this is called the Ambassadors Academy, and you can find it. You can find the link to it in a description of it on Diana Muller's website, pro3gunner.com. And then up at the top, there's a tab that says Ambassadors Academy. So what else? So you have a couple spots still available if people are interested. And so is there anybody else you want to name drop that's joining that people will, just spending time with you, just spending time with Ryan, learning the tips and tricks from you guys makes it worthwhile before you even get to your star-studded lineup of trainers and assistants and helpers and all of that.
Yeah, well, thanks. Well, we do have a couple of seats available. It is in about a month, so we're winding down to the final hours. And I just would like your audience to know that you gave out my website, but it's a $3,500 price tag. But really, the photography, if there's a company that's associated with you, the photography that you get out of this is worth that, the price of admission. What you get with that is a really good flag bag and a jersey. Like I said, there's breakfast and lunch, possibly dinner served daily at Tactical Disneyland. Housing is provided if you don't mind bunking with someone at that price. So, yeah, it might sound like a lot, but you're really getting a lot of good quality stuff with that price tag.
Well, I tell people that if they have a gun, they need to train on an annual basis. And in this case, if you are in the industry and you are doing the promotion and you're doing the work, you need to buff those skills up. And so this is that type of training for those type of people. So if you are leading your state organization or your county organization or your Friends of NRA, these are the places and these are the people that should be considering coming and joining and being part of this. If you're a podcaster or you're a blogger or you want to get into the industry, imagine the relationships to be able to spend a day with Lena Micklick and tell me that doesn't already get you the price of admission. So Diana Muller, thanks so much for joining us. So Pro 3 Gunner. No problem at all. No problem at all. Pro3gunner.com is the website. Go check it out, and then go to Di's Facebook page and see some of the other stuff that she's doing. It's pretty darn amazing, and she's somebody you want to know.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Fly our flags in glorious star-filled skies tonight. You discover my disguise. It ain't right. No, it ain't right. I'm lying to myself. You can see. Only honesty sets men free. Yeah, my truth. Come on. The truth can bring down walls. The truth, yeah, it's a wrecking ball. I said the truth smiths a soul. Yeah, truth. Yeah, 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 yeah. The truth can bring down walls. The truth, you know it's a wrecking ball. I said the truth can bring down walls. The truth, yeah, it's a wrecking ball. I said the truth can bring down walls. The truth, yeah, it's a wrecking ball. The truth. Waiting on a ghost train. You think you're supposed to ride? Standing in the station, ready to step inside. All you can see, something that you do, was red as the future was waiting for you.
Meets the category of uh-oh. So the ATF is searching for grenades that were sold at an antique mall in Virginia. And so in December, a Virginia teenager was killed by an exploding grenade that the investigators believe was purchased at the antique mall in June. And so the interesting thing the interesting thing about this is that they were all marked inert MK2 grenades. And so they're World War II. They are the traditional, the Green Army guys. This is what the grenade looks like. And so they're out there, and they believe that there are freewheeling around Virginia some not so inert grenades.
When we were kids, we used to buy those at the flea markets, and so they have $5. You get one. You unscrew the detonator, as they say.
Okay.
And you could see clear through it. They drilled the bottom out to take the count B out of them and stuff.
Okay, so when you're holding it without it unscrewed,
You should have a hole in the bottom of them. And
okay.
But if this one is solid, then there's a likelihood that you don't want to play with that pin.
Right, at all. So that's unfortunate. I mean, it has sat in somebody's someplace for 60 years.
Too, is we don't know enough about them to know inert from not, so everything looks like it's safe, even though.
Right.
I mean, I guess we are ignorant to them due to the fact that they just don't want us to know anything or play with them. So.
Well, and it's not like anybody's really got an opportunity to do it, and it's 60 years old no. It's more than 60 years old. So I keep thinking it's the year 2000. So let's say it's 80 years old. It's somewhere 75, 80 years old that it has been back in the United States. And so there's that. But frankly, folks, if you have a grenade
that you bought this summer, you might want to
look at it.
Yep, or show it to somebody who might know what you're looking at.
Or call the ATF's number. You can find them in the Google.
And they'll explain to you what you're looking at.
Or they'll drive out and look at it for you. So you could just say, I've set it in the driveway. Come check it out. And they'll be like, I'm glad to. No problem at all. So
send
just
somebody right down.
We'll be right there. And then if it's inert, you're good to go. And if it's not inert, it's going.
We live around one of the arsenals where they had manufactured stuff. So occasionally you'll see where the fire department has to go and deal with something that somebody brought home in their lunchbox or somehow got loose from
right, free range from the arsenal to somebody's house. I know that before they had demolished the garage that was across the street from our house, they found some kind of blasting caps that were sitting there corroding and turning into highly hazardous and explosive goo.
The thing is blasting caps and dynamite, normal, regular people could buy that. I mean, you went to the hardware store and they wanted you to fill out a form saying what you were doing with it, but it wasn't. It was too highly regulated for a long time.
They built it into the wall of the garage. That's what they did with it.
Right. Well, some people have contempt for what it is, and it's like, well, this will keep the kids from getting to it. We'll build it into the wall.
Right. And then exactly. So just that was our public service announcement. So don't have contempt for things that look like hand grenades. That's all we've got to say. Well, that's all we've got to say about that. I'm going to tell you, folks, we are living in an absolutely unique time in history.
Bizarre, I think, is more
it's a bizarre time in history. Are they coming?
Every day the incoming administration says, we're taking your guns, and here's a couple stories about where they're going to let you have constitutional carry to...
Right, so there's states that are pushing back, and so the new administration, their platform says...
State rights versus federal rights, and you ain't the boss of me.
and so that's it. And you're seeing... So as part of the DC project, everybody's looking to see what's happening. And so right now, Montana is considering constitutional carry. Utah is considering constitutional carry. There are currently 15 states that have constitutional carry. And I know that Ohio had it on the docket, and the way that our legislature runs, everything at the end of the year died a natural death, and it has to be reinitiated. So we're waiting to see if constitutional carry will come up in Ohio also. But 15 states have it, and more are discussing it. And then the administration that is currently going into power is saying, I'm going to take your guns, I'm going to restrict your stuff. So there's all of these other laws that are coming into place where they're saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to put in waiting periods. We're putting a 7-day waiting period for ammo. We're there's all of this stuff happening. So it's like the pro-gun. Think of this as a pendulum, and our pendulum is not the slow little tick-tock like you'd expect from a clock. It is this frantic, it's beating against this wall and beating against that wall.
It's more like the monkey with the bongo drum?
Maybe we put the clock with the pendulum in the back of a pickup truck and took it off-roading, right? It is everywhere, and we don't know what. Don't look here. No, look here. No, look here. That's what's happening right now in the Second Amendment world. It is.
And on the federal level, they've introduced this HR 38, which is to trying to get national concealed carry.
The National Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. So they're trying again to be able to get national reciprocity, so it matters for all of us, like a driver's license that will allow you.
Representative Richard Hudson from North Carolina is reintroduced this HR 38 bill.
I would think that with the anti-gun stance that's in the House, with the new leadership that's in the Senate, with the new leadership that's in the presidency, I think that Hudson does not have
42 states and the District of Columbia routinely issue concealed carry permits to all qualified applicants.
Well, 42 states and the District of Columbia.
See, so we only have a couple that are, depends on if you're using regular 50-state thing or the 57-state.
Well, we're definitely at 51 because of D.C. It's not a state, but it's close enough. So we're talking about 51, and so right now there's 43. Though I think that it's a stretch to say that the District of Columbia routinely issues the permits to anybody, to all qualified applicants, because
the qualified applicant part is the
right.
Is the
what do you need it for?
Point.
Right. What's your qualifications?
If you're qualified, although there's a lot of hoop jumping to make that qualification, then we're all about giving you the license. But we doubt it.
there is so much stuff that you're going to be watching right now to see what's happening. But states and your state legislature has abilities to do things based on states' rights, and you're going to see some of it. And so I was just messaged that Montana has written a secession bill in addition. So it's like, okay, if I don't like what's going on, Montana's going to be its own country, right?
Right. Well, some of those are not, I mean, they have a lot of problems pulling out. Texas was the only one who actually put it in there before they signed on.
That said, I can leave.
I can leave at any time.
Right. The rest of us are in Hotel California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say what you want, but we're not letting you go.
We're not letting you go. So there's a little bit of all of that.
Well, my headline is completely true.
Exactly. So if you guys are watching, so there is radio. We are doing live radio. We're doing podcasts also, but we are also on the OpsLens app, so you can see us on TV, on-demand videos. And so our producer has a really good time with tagging who we are. And so Rob's tag says he cried when Old Yeller died as his tag underneath. So if you want to see some of this and the fun that our producer has with Rob and I, you need to tune in. You can get us on Roku. You can get us on Fire Stick. You can get us on Apple TV or the OpsLens app on OpsLens itself or OpsLens's Facebook page. They're doing it live.
If you tune in early, you can watch Amanda abusing me because I'm slumping. I'm too far away from the microphone. Everything she can do
I'm just saying that
make me a better person.
I'm just saying it's justified abuse. So there's a difference between radio and TV, and he needs to actually look like he's alert. Just say it. So if you've seen Rob in action, Rob conserves energy in everything that he does. So he's an energy conservationist. So he's a slow walking, slow talking, slow moving man. We'll be right back.
Honest citizens like you protect themselves every day. We talk about it every week on the Self-Defense Gun Stories podcast. Were these gun owners lucky, or did they have a plan? How should we defend the people we love? We discuss recent examples on the Self-Defense Gun Stories podcast. Put us in your pocket.
Hi, I'm Janelle Westrom, owner of Davenport Guns and Davenport Shooting Club. At Davenport Guns, we do so much more than sell firearms. We advocate for increased personal safety and security, not just for you, but your whole family and community. Go to DavenportGuns.com to see our online inventory and browse videos, articles, and things we just find entertaining. Sign up for our newsletter to learn more.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Hi, this is Paul Lathrop from the Polite Society podcast. I wanted to let you know that the show you're listening to is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. You can check out all the shows on the network by going to selfdefenseradio.net or tune in for more on Self-Defense Mondays on Karma Radio, KRMAradio.com.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Seppacool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the DC Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Had a dirty day? Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps, made from fresh goat's milk and organic oils that detoxify, clean, and restore moisture to skin, will get you ready for your next adventure. These unique soaps are handcrafted in the Blue Ridge Mountains and shipped to anywhere in the U.S. Visit SillyBillyGoatFarm.com for their full line of Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps. That's SillyBillyGoatFarm.com.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough? Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl/mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.eyeonthetargetradio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.eyeonthetargetradio.com for Rust is Bad.
Okay, folks, we are back, and we've got comments coming in that there's so much different and unique stuff happening in our government right now that you're not hearing it on the national news, and I can't say that it's true or it's not true, but I am going to say that there is so much information coming in that there's got to be some credibility to it. So if you are somebody who is interested in what's happening with the government, I'd say start peeling your eyeballs and start looking at what's happening from the backside, because
look for 3 different sources that tell you it's happening before you believe it.
And that there are 3 unique sources or sources that you trust, because there are things that I believe that there are things that are true that are happening, and then I believe that because of that there is disinformation that's being sent out to distract you and make that look ridiculous by tossing something else out that you share, and then that looks ridiculous. So I'm just going to say that I believe that we are in one of the most unique times in our nation's history as it applies to ourselves, personal protection, the country, and
be careful, pay attention, and plan for
because whether it is true or it's not true, there are enough people who believe that it is true that their reality becomes, their perception becomes your reality.
We'll be out of toilet paper in no time flat.
Exactly. So people will react to this whether there is a basis in truth or not. So you need, as your personal protection plan, what's your plan to get home? Do you have enough if you can live through a brownout? Can the supplies? All of those types of things, and think very seriously about those as if you were going through a natural disaster such as a Hurricane Katrina, an extreme ice storm, an extreme snowstorm, something that would cause you to have to live without some of the modern conveniences for multiple days.
And it's not a long-term deal. If you can do 3 or 4 days,
right.
you're usually good enough.
So there are those. And so look at it. Do you have a generator? Or if you don't have a generator, what's the status of your refrigerator and your freezer? And
do you have something to cook if there's no electricity?
Right. All of those. This is just the most unique time, and inherently, Rob and I are both preppers to a point, prepared.
If you're a camper where you go camping in the summer, you should have all of your equipment and
right.
have some idea how to use it. Just have to figure out where you put it.
I have to say that I'm not a good over-the-fire cook, so we get soup. We get a lot of soup because I can't burn that. So we get stone soup. So whatever you can throw in the pot becomes what's in the pot. Okay, well it's stone soup. It's just easy to say that way. It doesn't get burnt. It's edible. It's warm. It works just fine. But I have not. In all of my time, seen anything that's quite like what is happening right now, just in how the news cycles are happening and that. So this morning, Rob and I attended an event talking about the First Amendment, and it had been scheduled like 3 months ago. And so in that event, they're talking about the president not, being deplatformed on Twitter by the POTUS's actual Twitter feed being, they go through and say, you're allowed to say that, you're not allowed to say that. That is an interesting time we're living in. And so if you like him, you're like, how dare they do that? And if you don't like him, you're like, rah, rah, rah. Well,
the thing was a couple weeks ago in one of the bills where they were funding the military, there was a thing about the Chapter 230.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody has been paying attention, Chapter 230 was something they put in that made the all of these electronic files that you use, like Facebook and Twitter and all these, it classifies them as a library. And so they don't have to know what the content is in in what you post. They just have to keep track of it and make sure that it's available for you. If the president wanted to take 230 out of the language because lately they have been abusing it and going through and saying what you can and cannot post.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't get taken out. It's still in there, but they've been using this over the top to knock down on their numbers of people that are actually posting, who's in what group or what groups are available and stuff like this.
And the problem with that is whether you agree, people have a right to say what they can't say, fire in a movie theater, but they have a right to say something, and how you react to it is on you, not necessarily on them. And so us being able to say, you can say this, you can't say that, and the Twitter tweet that they found offensive was the one where the president said that he was not going to attend the inauguration. And they took that down, saying that they believe that would incite riots. Well, there's a difference between the president telling someone to riot and making a statement that is going to anger the country.
The funny part is if we look at how Benghazi was, they said that part of the reason why Benghazi was they blamed it on a movie that someone had posted on YouTube or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, it had nothing to do with that. But it was, but it's the kind of thing.
It was the start of, you said something that caused somebody else to take an action, and so now you're an offender but that's part of the right of Americans. You get to say what you want to say. I don't have to listen to you.
Right.
I don't have to, you can't make me sit there and hear it. I can walk away, or I can tune you out, or I can turn you off.
Or I can speak out in opposition of what
Correct.
you had to say.
So if you're not concerned, you're not paying attention, because there is so much stuff that is truly concerning right now going on. And how does that apply to the Second Amendment? Your safety is what we're talking about. We're actually talking about, if something bad goes south, can you get home? What do you need to get home? What is the threat to you and your family? How do you protect them? All of those type things are part of what we should be stopping and thinking about. And we're in a spot where this is an amazing and unique time. But when we come back, we're going to have Dave Rosenthal from the NJCF, New Jersey's Firearms Owners Association. There's some letters in there, and
he'll tell us.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a range master certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
Had a dirty day? Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps, made from fresh goat's milk and organic oils that detoxify, clean, and restore moisture to skin, will get you ready for your next adventure. These unique soaps are handcrafted in the Blue Ridge Mountains and shipped to anywhere in the U.S. Visit SillyBillyGoatFarm.com for their full line of Grunt Goat Tactical Soaps. That's SillyBillyGoatFarm.com. Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl / mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.eyeonthetargetradio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.eyeonthetargetradio.com for Rust is Bad.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
This is Dan Perkins with your songs and stories for soldiers, Veterans Tip of the Day. If you're a veteran with a disability, are you interested in a program that could give you a free home? Homes for Our Troops is a privately funded 501c3 nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans to enable them to rebuild their lives. These homes restore some of the freedom and independence our veterans sacrificed while defending our country and enable them to focus on their family and recovery. Since its inception in 2004, nearly 90 cents of every dollar has gone directly to the program to serve veterans. HFOT builds these homes where the veterans choose to live and continues its relationship with the veterans after the home delivery to assist them in rebuilding their lives. For more information, go to their website, www.hfotusa.org, and see if you can qualify for the home of your dreams. This has been your Songs and Stories for Soldiers, Veterans Tip of the Day.
Okay, folks, we are back, and with us, we've got another guest this time, and it is Dave Rosenthal from the CNJFO. I can never get the letters the right way. I always want to put the N and the C in the different way. But Dave, hey, thanks for joining us on Eye on the Target Radio.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Amanda.
No problem. Tell us, what does CNJFO stand for?
It's the Coalition of New Jersey Firearm Owners. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, state and federal. And our mission statement is supporting the Second Amendment rights through education and awareness.
Okay, well, we need that. And you guys in New Jersey are fighting the good fight. So it's really funny, not funny, haha. It's really funny that there are a lot of outdoorsmen, pro-gun people in New Jersey, and New Jersey is not so overly friendly to you. Yet people are like, well, why don't you just leave? Well, no, don't give up the fight. Stay and fight. Because wherever New Jersey's going, the rest of us are following along. So we're grateful that you are there fighting the good fight. So I understand that you guys are doing a fundraiser, and I wanted to bring you on to talk about that because I think it's such an amazing opportunity.
Well, thank you very much. We have a bunch of different fundraisers. The one that you know about is our upcoming pheasant hunt. We actually have two scheduled, one for the first Saturday in February and another for the first Saturday in March. The pheasant hunts are going to feature 30 people each in squads of 5. We're going to have 3 squads of 5 in the morning and 3 squads of 5 in the afternoon. So we're going to have a total of 60 pheasant hunters on this one property, on this farm. And they all they're going to have a great time. We're going to feed them some hog hunt pork roast. and they're going to do raffles and a 50-50 and so forth, and they're going to learn a little bit about the Second Amendment while they're there.
I think that's amazing, and so you do it as an opportunity to educate and to fundraise, and so but the cost to participate is really not not steep at all. So why don't you tell folks how, if they want to check it out, because I know that it's selling out pretty fast. I talked to you to try to get you on here, and those darn people keep booking this and booking it up. But you guys, as one fills, you start to offer another one and go from there. So how can folks find it, and what is the cost?
Well, they can find it by going to cnjfo.com /events, and then just click on whichever event they'd like to go to that's not already all the way booked up.
Okay. Now, if they just want to be generous to your 501c3 and just flat out help you, how can they do that?
Well, of course they can. They can do that by going to cnjfo.com /donate.
Okay.
And if they wish to purchase apparel so that they, get something to say, hey, look at me, I actually helped New Jersey out, they can go to cnjfo.com /store, because we have an online store.
Okay, so you're doing this pheasant hunt, and I know that the second pheasant hunt you're bringing in a resident, non-resident, and a non-resident alien-ish person that people, our listeners know him. Charlie Cook is coming from Massachusetts down to New Jersey to join you.
So instead of riding shotgun with Charlie, they're going to be actually shotgunning with Charlie.
There you go.
Yes, we're going to shotgun with Charlie. I'm even going to bring my double-barrel black powder muzzleloader out there, see if I can knock a couple of birds down. Charlie's coming all the way from his hometown there in Massachusetts, and he's going to speak to us for a few minutes about what his travels have taken him and the different people that he's seen and spoken to and given shotgun rides to, including you two and myself.
Right.
We're all honored to have him, come and speak to us and hunt with us. And he's going to be bringing his dad's or uncle's Browning Light 12, I believe.
Well, I want to report back, because if he doesn't hit anything, we're dogging him.
Well, that's going to cost you a donation.
Okay. So you tell me what I got to donate so that I got to spy on site, because we're going to have to know that. Our listeners will be very generous, and because they're going to want to hear the details, because Charlie is a common caller here on the show, and people have checked out what he's done. So I think this is really cool that one state's kind of guy comes to another state to help out their organization. And just share the Second Amendment and the excitement of stuff that's happening. I think it's cool. So you're doing pheasant hunts. What other kind of hunts are you doing?
Well, we did a hog hunt 2 Sundays ago.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did one with my 50 caliber black powder rifle. We have another hog hunt where we're going to put another 15 people on a 150-acre island in the middle of the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania. And that's going to be on Friday, April the 23rd. And that one has 1 or 2 spots left. That's how popular these are. We've gotten to the point now where we're a recognized entity. Word has gotten around that we provide a good, safe time, and that people go home well-fed, happy, and with their game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the hog hunt itself is an any weapon hunt, no license needed. So you don't need a Pennsylvania hunting license in order to go on the island and hunt. We've had guys use handguns, shotguns, rifles, and we have kids and women that participate as well. As a matter of fact, 2 Sundays ago, we had Lorraine from the Well Armed Woman in Pennsylvania. She was there, and this is her second hog on the island, so she's a return customer. And the first time she was there, she and her friend Jackie, also from the Well Armed Woman, they both were given instructions on how to field dress their own hogs. Field dressing is normally included, okay, but the women decided to become empowered and do it themselves under the watchful eyes of our guides.
So wait. So field dressing is included?
Field dressing is included. The guides do the field dressing for you on the hog hunt.
Okay, well then I'm gonna have to keep an eye out. I don't know that I can go to that one, but I will definitely be making that as an adventure, because I want to do that, but I am so I just don't have a tolerance level to that part of it that I kind of know where my personal limitation is, and I haven't been able to bribe somebody to be my personal Bwana. But if that comes with it, I am thrilled.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we make this women and kid friendly and advertise it as such, because you don't have to go up to your elbow into your harvest the first time out as a complete newbie.
That would be good, because I am for me it is texture and temperature. So when it cools off, I'd be fine, but then that's not good for the overall harvest. And so that has been my personal hunting dilemma. Well, this is so cool, Dave. This is so cool that you guys, the things that you're doing, because you raise this money and then use it to fight the fights. So you guys are involved in lawsuits to try to cause New Jersey to back down a little bit and be a little more Second Amendment friendly. And that's what you're doing with the money. You've got about a minute. You want to tell us what's going on currently?
Sure. Recent history had it where we were working on Supreme Court case number 1927. That was the Mark Cheeseman case. We raised $11,500 and donated it to his attorney, and that was to help fund a amicus brief that we filed in that case, and also filing fees and so forth that were utilized, by the petitioner. We also helped out our state NRA association 2 Septembers ago with a $5,500 check for the Rogers case that also got knocked down with the other 9 cases, including Cheeseman, when John Roberts, did his thing. So,
right.
In addition,
hunting, we all. Go ahead, quick.
In addition to hunting, we also do sporting plays, and we do something called a wingding meet and greet in the winter at a pizza parlor that specializes in.
Okay, we'll tell you more about that at another time. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Janelle Westrom, owner of Davenport Guns and Davenport Shooting Club. At Davenport Guns, we do so much more than sell firearms. We advocate for increased personal safety and security, not just for you, but your whole family and community. Go to DavenportGuns.com to see our online inventory and browse videos, articles, and things we just find entertaining. Sign up for our newsletter to learn more.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Seppacool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the DC Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl/mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.IamTheTargetRadio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.IamTheTargetRadio.com for Rust is Bad.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit ProjectChildSafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a Rangemaster certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
So we are back. One of the listeners asked the question about, how do they go about registering for the CNJFO for the hog hunt? But since they will help you do it, just reach out and contact them at cnjfo.com and ask them the questions so that you can either identify how to bring your firearms into, because it is Pennsylvania, not New Jersey, how to bring them in for the hunt, or if there is a way that you can borrow something from one of them to participate. But he says that it is available to both women and children. I do not know what the children's age limit is, but it just sounds like it's a great time. And let me tell you, I know quite a few of the people that are part of the New Jersey Firearms Owners, and they're amazing people. So you will have a great time. Now, one of the things that I have been a proponent of is going and taking refresher training of some sort, going and training in some way. So this year I have signed up to take a Mossad Ayub Mag 40 class in South Dakota. And so I was like, well, there's my training for the year. And then I was like, I'm actually going to the Mingle down in Georgia. And so there's going to be a full day of instructor training there. So, there's my training. I think that there's a couple other things that are going on. So this year I may actually get it to where it's more training.
Last year they had some giveaway HKs or something at the Mingle also.
Well, there you go. I don't know. So I'm headed from Ohio.
Wear your lucky hat.
I'm headed from Ohio on my motorcycle to Atlanta, or I can't even say where it is. It's slightly north of Atlanta, Georgia. And so there's going to be an all-girls motorcycle gang, and people are joining amongst on the trip, and we're going to all come rolling in like our own version of the middle-aged wild hogs. And we'll see what happens from there. But I also know that she gives a prize for the best advanced. So if you're doing videos showing your way in and all of that kind of stuff, I'm pretty sure we got it, because there's not going to be any other videos of middle-aged women strapping their helmets on and putting on their coats and, get their motor running. Here they go. So I'm already.
She's all about selfies too, so make sure you load her up with them.
Oh yeah, so Shelley Hill, who's from the Complete Combatant, has been going to selfie school, and so it's pretty darn fun watching her, because most of the time prior to selfie school, you'd get like an eyeball or an ear, or that was about it. One eye tooth.
She jumps over your shoulder, and then all of a sudden you get your ear and her nose hole or something.
It was like, how'd you get that picture? What did you do? So it's good. But I want you to think about, where do you go to get training? Who do you train with? And every instructor, you're going to get something from them. So you pick an instructor, you learn something. You go to the range with a friend, you learn something. But those who say, "Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to learn anything more," I think that they're sort of inherently dangerous, because if you rest, you rust. Your skills get atrophied. You're not good at them. And this is, when you're talking about self-defense, you're talking about personal protection, you do not want atrophied skills. How often are you training?
Well, I train a lot, but I can tell you that even if you knew it once, you're still better off if you haven't practiced it than if you never practiced it at all. I mean, what's that that Chris Serena tells you, if your mind won't go where your hands don't go where your mind's
never been. So you've got to think about it, do it, know it at once. It could be rusty, but there's that. But
right.
But you've got to be doing
rusty,
it.
You're better than nothing. But if you got the time, get out and practice some of it. And it's funny. I mean, yesterday while I was waiting for the class, I did a couple of quick draw drills, and it's entertaining just by myself.
There's that. So when we teach the class, then as we get close to the end, he's like, "Okay, I'll go set up." I know he goes early just so that he could be like, it's him on the range with none of us. So we're not bothering him. But but there is that. So here's an interesting thing, and they're surprised by this. There's a Rasmussen poll that says that the majority of Republicans, 70%, 69%, expect crime to rise under incoming President Joe Biden, according to this survey. And it's like, how can it not? We're defunding the police. We're bringing social workers in where policemen ought to be. We are trying to take away guns and concealed carry and your ability to defend yourself. And then we're like, how did that happen? So people aren't going for this real well, and this would be one of the reasons why 8.4 million people that are first-time gun owners bought a gun in 2020. 8.4 million new gun owners. That also explains some
you can't buy bullets.
It explains some of the gun ammo shortage, because if you look at it and say 8.4 million people and you multiply that by, they each take home 2 boxes of bullets, right? All of a sudden, that's 840 million additional rounds of ammunition. You shoot a lot of ammo, but you don't shoot 840 million rounds, right? So that's
probably a couple tractor trailer loads right there.
It's a lot. I've been looking at what ammo prices are doing. Man, oh Chevets. So, I mean, in your opinion, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that ammo prices are going to go back down? Do you think they're going to lock here? Do you think
they'll eventually go back down? But when or how long that is out, it's hard to say. And it's kind of funny because it's not just that like pistol ammo is hard to get. You can't buy shotgun ammo. You can't buy high-powered rifle ammo. I mean, everything is sold out.
It's kind of like when they went to the shelf and this was out, then they went to anything else they owned and they bought the ammo.
So it makes you wonder, is it being driven by this election stuff? Is it being driven by the defunding of the police? Is it being driven by the fires and the things going on all summer long? Is it what is it that's making this whole thing?
I actually believe that the 24-hour news cycle, the riots, the fires, the if it bleeds, it leads news stories cause people to get fearful. When they got fearful, they bought ammo and guns. And when they did that, and then the next time they went to the shelf and there was nothing, after that, they're buying 2 or 3 or 4 if they go back the next time.
If you go to the gun shop, they don't really have anything. If they got something, it's a couple of old guns that somebody come in and either traded in or put on consignment, because even the new stuff, as soon as it comes in, a lot of times they know that they're going to be getting it. They've sold it before it even comes in the door.
Right. And so, yeah, if you are not letting them know that you are interested in something so that they know you've got it, if you're just going to see what's there each time in hopes to find something, you need to be communicating with your gun shop.
Some people are, I'll know it when I see it instead of I want this make, model, brand, style,
right,
whatever. So,
well, you can identify the I'll know it when I see it by shooting your friend's stuff, whatever that is, and then you identify it. Then you can go back to the gun shop and say, this is what I'm looking for, and then they'll know it when they see it because it's coming. So I want you guys to keep Car Arms on the top of your mind. They are a sponsor of the show, car.com. Check out the products that they have because they really make a quality product here in the United States. They manufacture and assemble in Pennsylvania. And so Tommy Gun, Magnum Research, Car Arms itself, and who, like I said, who does not want a tiger stripe Tommy Gun? I'm going to put in an order for my birthday. Maybe my husband will be burning his credit card. We'll see what happens. If I drop enough hints, I've been married for a long time. If I drop enough hints, he gets it. We'll be back next week. Catch you then.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.